Mercedes Volpez.
Welcome to Ludus Volpez. My name's Kirsty.
I'm Phil, and this is Richard and
Hello.
Tony from.
UK Games Expo.
So we thought, as they're here today at Aircon, we thought we'd hijack them briefly and talk a little bit about Games Expo and what's been happening, because it's been a tough couple of years. Lockdown cancelled one and reduced numbers on the last one.
Just postponed and then reduced the numbers. Yes.
Postponed, yeah. So how was lockdown for you guys?
Do you want to whine first?
Certainly a challenge, wasn't it? When you're sort of planning a thing. I mean, 2020 should have been our biggest show ever. 2019 was such a success.
Yeah.
And we expected 2020 to be bigger still, and bought calls on the basis of that. And then, of course, no show, postponed show, and no show. We didn't.
Aircon's got its place in that, hasn't it? If you recall, when the COVID broke, and it was, January, February, people were talking about this virus, etc.
Yeah.
And I remember having a conversation with one of our sponsors who said that they'd examined their risk profile and that it wasn't looking good for our show. And they said, "How is yours looking?" And I'm like, "I don't know, because I don't know what a risk profile is." And they explained it to us, and I then started work on one, and I completed it on the Thursday that Richard had driven up to Aircon.
Yeah.
And I phoned him on the Friday and said, "I'm coming up tomorrow and we need to talk."
Yeah.
And actually, Mark, who runs Aircon, gave us his office, and I went through the risk profile, and it was actually the Saturday at Aircon we realised we couldn't run.
That's a brutal moment.
Yes, it was a very difficult decision to make, isn't it? You kind of think, "I'm sure it'll be okay, can't we just delay? Will it be all right? It'll be all over in 3 months, that's all."
Yeah.
But we all know that story.
Yeah, and with the lead times on what you have to pay, we realised that that's what the risk profile explained.
Yeah.
So you realise, actually, if we go another 2 weeks and then can't run, we're broke, we're bust.
Yeah.
There won't be another expo.
That was big. That took that tough a decision.
Yeah, which is why we made the decision on the Saturday, because if we go another 2 weeks and then we can't run,
Yeah.
Expo will be bust, because we will have paid all the money, it won't be refundable, and so we've got to pull the plug now. And people say, "Well, why did you pull it so early?" I say, "Well, because these contracts exist in the background and they dictate what happens." So so we delayed and said we can't do this, and then when COVID just got worse and worse, and then we had to pull the plug, and then we had 21.
Yes.
And I mean, we planned the 21 show 6-7 times.
Oh, really?
A change of halls. The NEC said, "Well, you can't have that hall because the BBC want it for something," and then they didn't want it, and you can have that hall, and then you're going to be on the other side of the NEC in 3 halls you've never used, and then, "Oh no, you're not. You're back here." And in the end, the halls that we wanted originally were empty on the weekend that we were running, but we were in 2 other halls.
Yeah.
So running in 21 was a really difficult decision. COVID, we'd only just come out of lockdown 2 weeks prior.
Yep.
However, for large events, we were waiting for Public Health England to release it.
Give it a go.
And in the end, no decision was going to be right. We got massive criticism for running and massive criticism if we didn't.
Yeah.
However, we decided we could do it safely. We did do it safely. And, it ran at about 50% and gave people that first opportunity.
It's the size of the community as well now that and I won't say rely on Expo, but it's a great meeting place for a lot of people. It's a huge community of people who get very excited to just look forward to that weekend of seeing new things, spending vast amounts of money themselves as well.
Testing lots of prototypes as well.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things like that that go on, isn't it? And certainly, I think, having done it, there's a lot of people that will come up to us, or email us, or call us afterwards that say, "It was good that you did run." Because it kind of proved that we can do these things again.
Yeah.
Okay. I think obviously history still had to rumble on another year and various swings and roundabouts during that time, but hopefully now we're in a position where we can do these things.
Yeah.
And Continent's obviously pretty busy.
Yeah.
And things are shaping up pretty well for us for a good show this year.
So, are you? Will you be back to pre-COVID numbers? Do you think this year?
No.
Not exactly, no. Not lots, no. Not, if we're being honest, what we expect, what we're looking for is about 80%-ish.
Okay.
70-80%, something of that in that ballpark.
And we may be surprised, but you have to be careful because you have to budget these things. So if you go, we're going to have 30,000 uniques, then you've got to buy enough programs for that, and you've got to have enough support and volunteers and gaming. Yeah, and then if you get 20,000, you lose money and you don't run the following year. So we've always worked on the principle of overestimate the cost, underestimate the income. And that tends to mean you survive and you grow at a pace you can afford and that works. And so we've budgeted for 80%. Now, Aircon's way over its pre-COVID levels in attendance. From a trade point of view, Aircon doesn't run the amount of trade we run, so we've got Brexit issues with visas, and Americans still haven't had their travel budgets put back in.
They're not travelling at the moment.
So you lose that what was going to be in 2020, where we're expecting some of the large American companies for that year. That's probably going to be another year. We've spoken to them. They're not saying we're not coming to Expo ever again. They're just saying that isn't in place at the moment. And in America, the situation is very varied across the states. So depending on where they are can make a difference. However, we may find that attendance-wise, we get 100% or perhaps more.
Fantastic.
But if you're asking us what we're expecting, what we're budgeting on, we're looking at about 80% of pre-COVID levels.
I did do a count recently of how many international companies we've got. So in 2019 we reached 125 international companies. Last year we had 2. We did the whole quarantine.
I think one of them was Welsh as well.
You mean they crossed the border?
We're somewhere in the bracket, in the 40-ish range. So we've got 40 companies around the world, Americans, but not some of the bigger. So it is returning, but I think it's a sort of 2-year recovery. I think that kind of level.
What's your ambition for Expo in the future, after this year and onwards?
Well, I think we kind of had in mind the show that we were planning to do 2020, because that's something we thought we now can do this various things with the show. And of course, it didn't quite happen. So to get back to doing some of those, we've got to call really cool stuff, isn't it? Fun, additional.
The stuff that doesn't make any money.
Yeah, there's something like that. So
that loses money.
We get
quite bad.
but it's fun to do.
Yes. It upsets Tony because it loses money, but everyone else is enjoying it.
No, I don't particularly. Well, it just is the case. There are some things that we want to do. I mean, in the end, we're gamers. We happened to run a games convention by accident. It was neither of our vocations or training in life. We've just ended up at this position. But there's some stuff that is just fun but expensive. So we have done in the past a living dungeon, like Crystal Maze type thing. And we've looked at doing it again, but as we've explained to people, there's no money in it. Yeah, you will lose. Nobody's going to make any money. It will be really great fun, and people who go through it will get an experience and a wow.
I wouldn't
No, it's small money.
That's true.
Just print your own badge.
Write it on the hand.
Just brand them. But for instance, I mean, to give you a rough idea, if we charged £25 a ticket for it, we'd lose £25 as well. But it'd be really cool, and we'd like to get back to doing something that things you can't do at home. You can play a role-playing game at home, you can play a board game at home. We want you to come to the Expo and experience things you can't do at home.
The events need to be grander than you can. Or even your large gaming groups. The events need to be grander than those kind of things.
Yeah, you need to come, and that's what you'd expect. And we just have to, and we're happy with that. I mean, we're not desperate to be millionaires. We're happy. We're just not. You're just happy to make enough money, bring your family up, and then to just do really cool things where you can go, how cool was that?
Make memories.
Yeah.
The thing that people are talking about.
Have experiences, because you can only put like 200 people through an experience like that. but we want those 200 people to have a great time, and we've got some great ideas, and some great IPs have said
Yeah.
they'll link in with
That's
it.
That's cool.
It's just, nobody wants to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, so but we're happy to when we can get there, and the time and the effort, and a lot of planning has gone into that. And at 2020, I think if COVID hadn't happened, 2021, we would have done that.
Yes. Yeah. I don't
but-
think anyone expected anything like COVID. You could never have foreseen
No,
what was going to happen.
That was a life, I would say, interrupting event.
Yes.
I don't want to go
fair.
life changing
No, life
because
is
I
fair.
think
It's fair.
Yeah.
life will come back.
Yeah.
But it was an interruption that none of us were expecting. And again, you've then got to step back to normality,
Yeah.
back to growth, back to people being confident and happy that you can come to a big show, you can enjoy it. And that's everything from Brexit to supply chains from China to now this stupid war.
Yeah. Yeah.
All valid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of those things that are interrupting are just going to take time. And, just the cost of living at the moment,
Yes.
is buying a game value for money. We think, actually, it is. You can get an enormous amount of time and sociability out of a £40, £50 game.
Yeah.
And that's one trip to the pictures.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's a wonderful way of looking at it. You spend £80 on games on a fairly regular basis, but actually it's a family time. It's time with friends.
6 months beating my kids at these games. It's brilliant.
Do they talk about it being brilliant?
Oh, I don't really ask. I think that would just be going too far. If you start asking their opinion, that's it.
I think one thing that COVID has delivered is actually more people in the hobby. There's so many people so my sister lives abroad. She lives in the Czech Republic. Couldn't connect with her other than online. I sent her and her boyfriend a box of 10 games and said, "Here, enjoy the time that you've stuck together."
Yeah.
Introduce them to board games. They ended up coming to Essen with us
Yeah,
last year.
there are quite a few
They are hardcore board games now, and so
Oh, have
there's
you
so
now?
many people who,
Capture them.
but there's so many people who I've spoken to and tried to introduce to gaming, or that have come to me and said, "Oh, I've played a game and it wasn't Monopoly and it wasn't Cluedo, and you know what, it was good." But it's fascinating, the change. Trying to be in a positive spin of what COVID has delivered is more people to the hobby, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we know that retailers and publishers have reported over the COVID period. I mean, disaster for us because we can make no money at all, but they were reporting record sales.
Yeah.
And therefore the hobby is thriving. The underlying roots and foundations are really good.
There's a lot of new stuff coming through. There's a lot of people who obviously
Yes.
spend that time
Yeah,
on new
designing.
designs
Yeah,
and
yeah,
things.
yeah,
It's starting to come through.
yeah.
So,
And that's exciting to see.
yeah,
Very.
absolutely. The new stuff is often the fun stuff, isn't it? To
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
That's always quite exciting.
It was one of the things I really enjoyed about Expo last year, actually. There was a lot of smaller vendors, but with a lot of boutique custom projects that they put together.
Yeah.
And that was, sometimes maybe the big flash, sometimes I get distracted from seeing them when I go to Expo, so it was really nice to...
Yes, and we've had some interesting suggestions, haven't we? So
Yes.
somebody suggested that we put all of the major sponsors and stands at the back of the show.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the money they give us to be at the front? that means we can afford
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
give the smaller companies
Yeah.
decent price stands. So it's a lovely idea, but we might not go with that one.
No.
But and last year's Expo was peculiar because, of course, many of the large companies with COVID policies just weren't going anywhere, and of course are much slower to react coming back. While one-man bands, two-man bands, can go, we're going to make a decision ourselves and go. And so there was a lot of smaller publishers, and even though there was only half the attendance, some of them did better than they've ever done.
Yes.
And
I
that
can
was
believe
that was the reporting back. And again, we'd encourage you, if you're coming to the Expo, go and look at the little guys.
Yes.
They have some great projects, yeah?
Some of the fun stuff is around those small
Yeah.
stands, little stands, the starter
Yeah.
stands.
Of course, we love our major sponsors. Yeah, just before you all withdraw. But you know, the mid and the small guys have got some great games. We talked to somebody today with a Thunderbirds thing they're doing,
really?
and yes, that was Yay Games,
Yeah.
isn't it? And so some of these smaller companies have great projects they're working on,
Absolutely.
unique projects, Kickstarters, 3D dungeons, and just some of the stuff I've seen at Aircon.
Yeah.
And so, take some time, and go round.
That 3D Dungeon's mind-boggling for
Yeah.
the one that he's got on display here.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's not even selling it.
No.
No, he's selling he's producing the technology that built it, and he's going, look at the technology. And I'm
Yeah.
going, you could sell that.
Yeah.
of course you can. Why aren't you selling it?
I'm trying to buy it off him. And he's like, well, look at the resin, never
Yeah.
mind the quality, some feel the width. I'm like, well, I want to buy how much for the tile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to use it in my D&D campaign.
That's right.
I think it's important to remember as well, like the independents and the small are those that are going to become the big if they do well in the
They
future.
can do, absolutely. So we've
Like-
had people that have been starting stands
Yeah.
1 year and I've got as far as major sponsorship for about
Exactly.
3 years or something.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Richard, one of the parts that Richard spends a lot of time on is the designer publisher track of the
Yeah.
show, which is there to, to bring people through, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, so speed dating, where you pitch against
Yeah,
publishers and networking events, but also workshops and playtest, of course. But,
Yeah.
it's a very big part of our show, and university courses that we support and get them
Yeah.
to the show, so they can show what they've got.
They've even had us go and lecture, which was a shock
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
But yes, Richard is a game designer, and really gets involved with that. For people who can come with bits of cardboard and an idea, and 3-4 years later, they're being bought by a publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And so that path is there, and the advice is there, and
Yeah.
support's there, and the opportunities are there.
Yeah.
That's another part. We'll be back this year in larger amounts. We did a bit this
Yeah.
year again, in a
Yeah.
small way, but we're on
Yeah.
full program again this year.
So if people have got a project and they're looking for a publisher, it's an
Yeah.
ideal
We're
opportunity.
taking,
Ideal.
we're taking pictures with speed dating right now.
Yeah.
They can submit their thing.
Yeah, start booking now. Start
Could be you.
Yeah.
As it were.
It could be, yeah. It won't be me.
No.
Well, I'm hoping. I hope you have a great expo this year. It's been great to see you here at Aircon, and we're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to expo this year.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, well, it'll be a full expo. We got
Yeah.
all of everything from bring and buy to the cosplay to the live events to the massive trade halls. So
Back at the Hilton this year.
we are back at the Hilton as well, which has been fully refurbished.
Oh, really?
That's right. So
Chow Street's back,
Yeah,
okay.
Chow
Yeah.
Street food's back.
Lovely.
Reenactors. We've got 3 groups.
We've increased the reenactment area. So the Vikings will be fighting the Americans from World War II.
So
Don't know how that's-
the Vikings, World War II, and Orcs.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we
Ancient
like to
Britain.
have and the ancient Britons.
Yeah.
I do know
yeah.
about them.
Yes.
But no, so great family day out, and if they come to the website, see what there is. And in next Saturday, we're doing a 2-hour live stream and massive prize giveaways. So you can win top of the range games like Descent 3, Scythe, Terraforming Mars, free hotel rooms, tickets. So there's 2 hours next Saturday if you want to come and join us. It will be 3 blokes from OTT talking absolute rubbish, but you can phone in, give them abuse, win prizes,
Ask questions.
ask questions. They won't have any answers, but you ask them anyway.
We'll put the link below.
Okay.
No,
Cool.
That's perfect.
Thank you both. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your time today, and we'll
Yeah.
see you soon.
See you soon.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for Udis Volpez. See you soon, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.